fellow Toastmasters. Let me depart from these tawdry times that are today and step back again, as I did last week, for those of you who are here, to a simpler time, 1971. And I shared with you last week my first chapter of a bicycle trip I took in 1971. I was 22 years old at the time. Now let me set the stage for you in 1971. The Vietnam War was raging. Young Americans were continuing to flee to Canada or get drafted. It was a horrible conflict in our nation's history. Hippies were ruling the West Coast and the East Coast and had by this time infiltrated the central United States, the heart of America, as you would. And in 1971, the movie Easy Rider was still fresh in our minds. Do you remember Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper, Jack Nicholson, all murdered along the way on their bike trip by rednecks? So that was the time, and that was what was in our minds, Vietnam. We might have been like hippies a little bit, a little bit, and Easy Rider. So we were bicycling. I took you to Cloquet last week. We left Cloquet and worked our way up to the Iron Range town of Hibbing, home of basketball great Kevin McHale. I guess that's about it for Hibbing. and giant holes in the ground and giant heaps where they took the earth from the ground and piled it over here. It was the end of the day, and we thought we should stop for a beer. And there was a bar on the south side of Hibbing. And we went in, and it was filled with older men than us, rugged-looking men who looked like they had worked hard all their lives for a living, wouldn't want you spitting on their flag. And we walked bravely up to the bar. The bartender looked at me, and he looked at my friends. And at the age of 22, I was really young-looking. And he said to me, "Can I see your," and I began to reach into my pocket to pull out my driver's license. And he said, "Can I see your draft card?" Well, for some reason, and innocent as it may have been or may not have been, I had no draft card. And I knew I didn't belong in this place. If you remember a Leonard Skinner classic called "Give Me 3 Steps," all we were looking for was a little head start out in the parking lot, throwing up gravel off the rear tires of our bicycle as we left the little bar in South Hibbing. And up the road a piece, we decided this is a good place to camp. We didn't just get off the road behind a tree. We went deep, deep, deep into those woods because we saw what those rednecks did to Jack Nicholson and Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda. Mr. Toastmaster.